now in the news, search and rescue efforts continue as death toll from Niger State flood surpasses 200, with 503 households affected. 33 persons feared killed as suspected herdsmen attack Benue communities. A Nigerian government declares Friday and Monday as public holidays for Eid al-Kabir celebration. Joining news now on TV 360 Nigeria, I'm Simisola Atikun. At least 200 persons have been reported dead following the flood that ravaged Mokwa local government area of Niger State. According to the report, another 500 people are still missing as search and rescue efforts continue. The floods, said to be the worst in the area for 60 years, swept through the Mokwa districts of Tifin Maza and Anguwan Hawusawa after torrential rains that lasted last week, with the collapse of a nearby dam exacerbating the situation. The flood has displaced thousands, destroyed homes, and severely impacted infrastructure. In his condolence message, President Bola Tinubu disclosed federal agencies have been instructed to help with the emergency response. Meanwhile, the secretary to the state government, Abubakar Usman, urged residents to remain calm and support the government's response efforts. And about 33 persons have been killed by suspected herdsmen in coordinated attacks on Gwa West and Upper local government areas of Benue State, leaving many residents missing. According to witness accounts, the violence began around 7 p.m. on Sunday when suspected herdsmen attacked the Ser Atswam in Naka town, the headquarters of Gwa West local government area. Despite the proximity of a military checkpoint, locals expressed frustration over the lack of response during the attack, describing it as a betrayal of public safety. Many displaced residents have taken shelter in school premises where local police and community vigilantes are providing temporary security. And President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated the completed part of Phase 1, Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, measuring 30 kilometers, with a charge to motorists and commuters to utilize the infrastructure effectively. The landmark event held in Lagos over the weekend was part of activities marking the second anniversary of his presidency. Tinubu restated his administration's commitment to achieving excellence in infrastructural development across the country. TV 360's Victoria Konde completes the report.
The newly inaugurated Phase 1, Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway spans 30 kilometers, stretching from Ahmadu Bello Way to Eleko Village in Lekki Peninsula, Lagos. It's a 6-lane dual carriageway designed to boost connectivity and spur economic activity along Nigeria's coastline. Speaking at the commissioning, President Tinubu acknowledged the controversies surrounding the project's route and the difficult decisions that came with it. He called for collective responsibility to preserve the infrastructure, reassuring citizens of the government's determination to complete the entire 700-kilometer project. Tinubu also cautioned developers against erecting structures on setbacks around the highway.
As we celebrate today, let us reflect on our collective responsibility to preserve infrastructure. The government can build roads, but this is left for us, citizens, to maintain. The motorists and residents alike are hereby encouraged to utilize this opportunity very effectively and well. Let me at this stage warn all developers the federal government will enforce the setback. If not for anything, it's for the interests of our nation. Development without approval will not be compensated.
In his remarks, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, reeled out the achievements of the President Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, especially on legacy infrastructural development projects across Nigeria with immense benefits including job creation, economic opportunities, improved accessibility and connectivity, amongst others.
I've never seen. You have encouraged us a lot, and we will stand with you. We will take bullets for you. It doesn't matter the attacks. My loyalty is first to God Almighty and to you, Mr. President. We will do more with you, sir. And I want to thank you for allowing us to work with high tech. Because if you said no at FEC, that's the end of it. But you've never said no to any of our procurements. When you asked us to go and do this road, my mind was, if the president could tame the Atlantic Ocean with high tech, nothing is impossible. And the clip you saw, sir, we drew a lot of inspiration from the clip you saw. Nothing is impossible to a man that is willing.
This is a dream come true and a promise kept by our dear President. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I emphasize here that Mr. President is not only building infrastructure, but laying a solid foundation for a better future for all Nigerians.
On his part, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio assured the President of more support from the National Assembly to reposition the country's economy. Also present at the event were state governors who appealed to Nigerians for continued patience and optimism.
My brother Gilbert and my other brother Roland, I said, why are you fighting the ocean? And they told me that you were the one encouraging them. They told me that you were not encouraging them. I said, you can't fight the ocean. Leave this Atlantic City. It's not going to work. But today, Atlantic City has saved the whole of Ikoyi and has saved the whole of Victoria Island. Many people were relocating to other places in Abuja, but they can sleep well today because of Atlantic City.
To High-Tech Construction Company, we extend our sincere appreciation. The quality of work here speaks for itself. You are helping to build not just an infrastructure, but you are partners in building our national pride. Let me say it loud and clear. When the history of Nigeria economic transformation will be written, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will earn glory mention in several chapters as a transformative leader that Nigeria waited so long to have.
The project, which officially commenced in March 2024, is being constructed by High-Tech Construction Company in phases and will eventually link Lagos to Cross River State, traversing the coastal regions of Ogun, Ondo, Delta, Edo, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom. Victoria Akode, TV260 News, Lagos.
Has declared Friday, June 6 and Monday, June 9 as public holidays to celebrate Eid al-Kabir. This was announced by the Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo in a statement issued on behalf of the federal government on Monday. The minister assured Nigerians that the people-oriented reforms and initiatives carried out in furtherance of President Bola Tinubu's administration's renewed hope agenda are to restore Nigeria to the path of progress. The General Officer commanding 8th Division of the Nigerian Army in Sokoto, Major General Ibikunle Ajose, has confirmed that troops under his leadership have successfully dislodged the notorious Lakurawa terrorist group from their stronghold. Speaking to defense correspondents at the division's headquarters, General Ajose said the operation, which relied on kinetic military strategy, was carried out with the full support of the defense headquarters. General Ajose, who also serves as the Sector 2 Commander of Operation Fasanyama, added that there have been no reported drone attacks by terrorists in the area. He further assured that since the beginning of the year, no corps member has been kidnapped or harmed, reaffirming the Army's commitment to maintaining security in the region.
The Operation Chase Lakra was out. Sometime last year, they resurfaced, and the Defense Headquarters sent a Special Operations Brigade to operate in Tangaza, Gudu, Silami, areas of Sokoto State, and Agui and Arewa of Kebbi State. And I must also state categorically that we have been able to destroy all their camps in Sokoto and Kebbi State. They are a highly mobile terrorist group, but we have decimated them, and they keep crisscrossing between Nigeria and Niger. And we have also been partnering with the Nigerian forces to ensure that they do not have any freedom of action. And I must also tell you that this year we've not had any incident of any missing corps member or kidnapped corps member. Drone attack. No, we have not had any in the northwest. The closest is in a location they were trying to use it as a surveillance device, and it was brought down. And since then, we've not had any, probably because, you know, most of these terrorists, they are copycats. So once they see them using something somewhere, they try to do that.
A coalition of female leaders and advocates from the southeast under the aegis of Igbo Women Ambassadors has held its convention in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. The landmark event brought together Igbo women from across the globe who engaged in cultural celebration, economic empowerment, policy dialogue, and community development. The president and founder of Igbo Women Ambassadors, Marlene Onyeocha, who spoke on the theme promoting the culture and building the future of Igbo people, called for unwavering support towards uplifting the Southeast and strengthening Nigeria's democracy. Other contributors who spoke on the preservation of the rich Igbo culture dwelt heavily on preserving cultural heritage and inspiring future generations.
Too often, the achievements and struggles of Igbo women go unnoticed and are misinterpreted. Igbo women organizations stand as a force to change the narratives, give Igbo women a platform to tell their own stories, shape their own destinies, and inspire future generations. Over time, the organizations have grown, attracting women who share the same passion for progress and transformation. It is not just about individual success, but about collective elevation.
I call on all Igbo women and men to rise together in this noble mission. Let us promote our culture with pride, not just in words, but in intentional actions. Let us celebrate our festivals with joy and reverence, honoring the beauty and wisdom they carry. Let us speak our language boldly in our homes, in our workplace, and everywhere we find ourselves. When we travel or live abroad, let us not endanger our language by replacing it entirely with foreign tongues.
Our culture is very, very important. It is a tapestry woven with brilliant, vibrant threads of tradition, of language, of art, of our communal way of life. Look, our culture is a testament, the testimonial of our creativity as Igbo, our resilience, and our connection to our roots.
We'll take a short break now. Still to come on the news, China accuses the U.S. of violating trade agreement, vows firm retaliation. We'll give you details when the news returns.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information, location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the GoTo app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of our main stories. At least 200 persons have been reported dead following the flood that ravaged Mokwa local government area of Niger State. According to the report, another 500 people are still missing as search and rescue efforts continue. We also informed you that about 33 persons have been killed by suspected herdsmen in coordinated attacks on Gwa West and Upper local government areas of Benue State, leaving many residents missing. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And Tamilore Akinkwole has more stories on business. Over to you, Tamilore.
Thank you, Simisola Ellen. Welcome to Business News. Now, the Nigerian government revenue from the oil and gas sector was about 70% higher in February 2025 than that earned from the sector in February 2024. According to the latest economic report by the CBN, the sector raked in 70.49% higher in February 2025 than the 477 billion naira recorded in the same period in 2024. In its analysis of oil sector activities in the month under review, the CBN disclosed that domestic crude oil production declined by 4.55% to 1.47 million barrels per day, reflecting disruptions in maintenance operations on the Trans-Niger pipeline and lower output from key terminals. It added that global crude oil prices fell in February 2025, largely due to the possibility of a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia and increased global refinery turnarounds. And still in business, Nigeria Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has stressed the need for the mobilization of capital markets to bridge the colossal financing gap for climate adaptation in Africa. The Director General of SEC, Ememoti Miyagama, said this while speaking on the role of capital markets in closing financing gaps for climate adaptation, presented at the African Development Bank (AFDB) meeting. He urged project developers and private sector actors to present bankable, pipeline-ready projects with robust environmental and social metrics in a bid to closing financing gaps for climate adaptation. We'll take a breather here and be back with Stock Market Report. And Nigeria's equities market extended its positive momentum from last week to Monday, recording a gain of 0.26%, equivalent to 179 billion in the market value. Now, this comes as analysts anticipate a mix of investor sentiment this week, though the bulls appear to maintain a firm grip on the market. Now, the Nigerian Exchange All-Share Index rose to 112026.24 basis points, while the market capitalization increased to 70.641 trillion naira. Now, Motivus led the top gainers chart, climbing from 7 naira 60 kobo to 8 naira 35 kobo with a gain of 75 kobo, and followed closely by livestock feeds, which also saw a significant increase, rising from 9 naira 40 kobo to 10 naira 30 kobo and gaining 90 kobo. Now, in total, investors traded over 570 million shares worth over 10.07 billion naira in 17,019 deals. Meanwhile, global markets witnessed a mixed session. Now, tensions escalated in global trade after China accused the United States of breaching a recent trade agreement, causing investors caution. Now, as a result, the US Dow Jones and Japan's Nikkei closed in the negative territory, while the UK FTSE managed to stay in the greens. On the foreign exchange front, the naira traded at 1,620 naira to the US dollar, 2,050 naira to the British pound, and 1,720 naira to the euros on the black market. And that's it on both business and stock market reports. Over to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Tamilare. On foreign news, an Al-Qaeda-linked group says it carried out a major attack on the Malian town of Boulikessi and seized control of an army base. More than 30 soldiers were killed in Sunday's attack, according to sources. However, that figure has not been confirmed by authorities. On Monday, the same group said it targeted the military in the historic city of Timbuktu, with residents reporting hearing gunfire and explosions. In a statement responding to Sunday's attack, Mali's army said it reacted vigorously before withdrawing. And China has criticized the United States, accusing it of breaching their recent trade agreement and warning that it will take firm measures to protect its interest. The nation's Ministry of Commerce accused the U.S. of unilateral and discriminatory actions, including the introduction of new AI chip export restrictions, curbs on chip design software sales to Chinese firms, and the revocation of visas for Chinese students. In a statement issued on Monday, the ministry rejected Donald Trump's assertion that Beijing had violated the trade consensus reached in Geneva last month. And on sports, President of the Nigeria Olympic Committee, Habu Gumel, alongside members of the Olympic community in Nigeria, has expressed profound sorrow and extended heartfelt condolences following the tragic death of 22 athletes from Kano State in a motor accident. The athletes were returning from the recently concluded 22nd National Sports Festival known as the Gateway Games 2024 held in Ogun State. In a statement released by its public relations officer, the NOC emphasized that the loss of these athletes represents a significant tragedy that has reverberated throughout the sporting community. And Nigeria has announced the acquisition of top Italian coach Riccardo Bardin to lead the national team at the 2025 African Senior Fencing Championships, scheduled to take place in Lagos from June 25 to 29. The appointment forms part of a strategic 4-year partnership between the Nigerian Fencing Federation and the Italian Fencing Federation, aimed at accelerating the sport's development in Nigeria through technical support and knowledge exchange. According to the NFF, Bardin, who is a respected figure in international fencing circles, will arrive in Lagos in June to conduct an intensive 2-week training program for Nigerian coaches and athletes. And that's it on News Now. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.